Ready to record?
I've already hit the record button. The meeting is starting at 5:31 p.m. This is the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force Complaint Committee for October the 21st. The Sunshine Ordinance Task Force and its committees convene in hybrid meetings that allow in-person attendance and in-person public comment, remote access for petitioners and respondents, and remote public comment via teleconference. Meeting decorum. Any members of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force or its committees may call for decorum due to the disorderly conduct of the meeting. Participants, person who engage in threatening and or menacing behavior may be asked to leave. Item number 1 on the agenda, call to order, roll call, and agenda changes. On the call of the roll, Chair Schmidt. Chair Schmidt present. Oh, sorry.
Thanks.
Chair Schmidt present. Member Stein. Stein absent. Member Sugarman.
Present.
Sugarman present. We have a quorum. Just to bring up 2 agenda changes. We did receive an email today at approximately 3 o'clock regarding item number 5, requesting that the matter be continued due to family emergencies. And for item number 8, there's a request to hear that item before 8 p.m. due to a conflict.
I'm inclined to grant that continuance based on the representations made. It seems that there was also some interest by the respondent in that case in maybe doing a continuance, although that preceded the email from Jadir Gaines. And then with number 8, I don't think we'd get till 8 o'clock in this committee, but I'm happy to move that up, and it would just be a question of, do we put it first, second, or keep it where it is, which would be third if we do not hear Gaines. Member Sugarman, any thoughts?
Well, just before we started, we were informed how many people were in the online community. So I think that I don't mind putting it in the top of the queue, but we should also, it could just be dependent on which parties are present by the time we get there. So like it could be first or second.
Yeah, why don't we call it, and if the parties are not present, we'll hear a different case through the first 2. And so it will get moved up and we'll start it right away. And that's, I think that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to move that we continue number 5, and let's move it to our next meeting.
May I suggest we continue item 5 to the call of the chair? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Would you like to make that motion at this time?
Yeah, that's my motion.
Yes, on the motion to continue item number 5, file number 25033, complaint filed by Gaines against the San Francisco Transportation Agency.
Victor, do you want to take public comment first?
I'm reading the motion first.
Okay.
On the request to continue the matter to the call of the chair. On that motion, we're going to take public comment. If there are any members of the public who wish to provide public comment, you can raise your hand for public comment. If you're on the telephone, you can press *3. If you're on a PC login, you can raise your hand through the program. Okay, we have 9 people online with us. Again, if you'd like to make public comment on this continuance request for item 5, you can raise your hand at this time. *3 if you're on the phone. I see no requests for public comment at this time.
If I could just, sorry, Victor, to interrupt. If I could just suggest we ask if the respondent has any comment before we do a vote.
Yes, is there a representative from the San Francisco Municipal Transport Agency online with us at this time? If you can raise your hand, it would be appreciated. I see them. Yes, I am unmuting your microphone. You have
Hi,
it
this is
unmuted.
Carol. Hi, it's Caroline Celaya from the SFMTA, and we had actually asked for the item to be continued as we didn't believe we'd have staff available. It turned out I am available, but I'm okay with going forward with the continuance so that the other staff person who's more knowledgeable on this than I can be present at the next meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Is appreciated. So there we go. Let's proceed to a vote.
Yes. There being no speakers for public comment on this matter, we can move to vote on the motion to continue the matter to the call of the chair. On that motion, Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Chair Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Stein is absent. The motion passes without objection. Okay, moving back to the item number 2, approval of the July 17th, 2025 Sunshine Ordinance Task Force Complaint Committee regular minutes.
So before we get started, should we be seconding our motions, or is it not necessary because there's only 2 of us?
When there's only 2, I don't believe we need a second,
Okay.
but it can't hurt to have a second.
Okay. Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
I have no comments on item number 2,
No comments. So I'll move to approve.
and I'll second.
Okay, that's item 2.
Number 2.
Yes. Sorry, my apologies. You just had me thinking about the second. So after this, I would like to go back and get a second on item 5, just to be consistent.
Okay.
Yes, on item number 2, approval of the July 17th, 2025 meeting minutes. Moved by Member Schmidt, by Chair Schmidt, seconded by Member Sugarman to approve. If there anyone would like to make public comment on this matter, you can raise your hand at this time by pressing *3 if you're on the telephone, but otherwise using the application to raise your hand. I do not see any hands raised at this time. On the motion, Chair Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Stein, absent. The motion passes without objection. Returning to item number 5, I'd like to propose a motion to rescind the previous vote on the matter and to propose a new motion to move by Member Schmidt, seconded by Member Sugarman, to continue the matter to the call of the chair.
And that's fine. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and proceed as if we do need a second, just so then we don't have some question at some point. I will make that motion is, I want to make that motion myself. And so let's see if we can get a second.
A second.
Yes, on that motion, are there any members of the public who would like to provide public comment on that motion? You can press *3 to raise your hand, or otherwise raise your hand. There are no hands raised at this time. On that motion, Chair Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Stein, absent. The motion passes without objection. Moving back to item 3, approval of the August 19th, 2025 Sunshine Ordinance Task Force Complaint Committee regular meeting minutes.
I have no comments.
No edits? Okay. I have no edits either, so I will move for approval.
I'll second.
Yes, on the motion to approve the on the motion to approve the August 19th, 2025 minutes. On that motion, are the members of the public who like to provide public comment? You can press *3 to raise your hand at this time, or otherwise use the application to raise your hand. I see no hands raised at this time. On that motion, Chair Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Stein, absent. That motion passes without objection. Next on the agenda is item number 4, public comment. Members of the public may address the committee on matters that are within its jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. Are there any members of the public who would like to provide public comment, general public comment? At this time, you can press *3 to raise your hand, or otherwise use the application to raise your hand. And I would just like to note for the public that there are no members of the public in the room at this time. I see no hands raised at this time. I believe we can close general public comment.
Yes, let's do that.
Next on the agenda, item number 6, file number 25070, complaint filed by Rosa L. against the San Francisco Police Department for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 67.21 by failing to respond to a public records request in a timely and/or complete manner. If you are a party to this matter, if you could raise your hand at this time by pressing *3, it would be appreciated. And I believe I have moved the police department representative to the panelist list. You can unmute your own microphone. Is there a representative for Rosa L. here at this time? You can press *3 to raise your hand. I am not seeing any hands raised at this time. Is there a representative for Rosa L. in the online at this time? If you don't mind, I'm going to check some of the numbers that I don't have a listing for, just to double check.
We could go ahead with number 8 if maybe because we're moving the schedule around, we could check on Rosa L once more and hear number 8 first.
Okay.
See if the parties for number 8.
We can move on to number 7.
I prefer that we try number 8.
Okay.
Just because of the request that was made.
Taking number 8 out of order. Item number 8, file number 25074, complaint filed by Patrick Minnette Shaw against the Department of Public Health for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 67.5 by failing to hold open and public meetings. We do have a representative from Public Health here at this time.
Okay, good.
Is Mr. Minnette Shaw present? Oh, there he goes. Okay, I have made those 2 parties panelists. You can unmute your own microphone at this time. Let me double check. Oops.
Hey, Victor Young, this is Victor Lim, DPH.
Okay, we have Mr. Lim from the Department of Public Health, and we have the phone caller that I've just unmuted. Is this Mr. Minnette?
It is. Can you hear me, Victor?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much.
Oh, good. Thank you. And thank you for moving this up in the queue. I appreciate it.
No problem. Okay, so this is our first case for today, and I'll just run through the procedures that we will use for all of these cases. I will we'll start with a presentation by each of the parties of up to 3 minutes. Petitioner, then respondent, with the knowledge in mind that we have read through the documents. We know what the cases are about. And so just present to us what you think you wish to convey. The second part of this will be questions that the members of the task force, the members of this committee might ask of the parties, of witnesses. And then after questions, we will go into deliberations, and that will often be about.
I want to reiterate, I am somewhat disabled and
we will determine if we're going to forward the matter on to the full task force. This committee, as a committee, does not make any final decisions, although some of the issues we look at are jurisdiction and whether public records or meetings are involved. We may recommendations in a conveyance to the full task force, or we may not make recommendations. Okay, with that in mind, I think we're ready. Let's hear first from the petitioner when Mr. Young is ready.
How much time are we allocating?
3 minutes.
Okay. Mr. Manetchal, you may begin.
All right, thank you. I'm going to play it from my computer. Here we go.
I want to reiterate, I am somewhat disabled and need a special accommodation to call into remote public meetings, given my vocal cord cancer that began in 2023. Mr. Morwitz, the Health Commission, and Mr. Victor, Whitehouse Lim, all know that I need to access meetings via telephone calls, not have access only through a WebEx connection using my computer. That's because, unless I have a dial-in phone line that is working properly, I cannot play back my prepared testimony using my computer's text-to-audio playback feature as an assistive and reasonable accommodation device to translate my prepared testimony. I repeat, I need telephone access to public meetings, not just a WebEx connection. WebEx interferes with electronic transmission equipment when I play back my prepared testimony using my computer. As I indicated in my initial complaint, for both the Laguna Honda Hospital JCC Subcommittee meeting on September 8, 2025, and the full Health Commission meeting a week later on September 15, 2025, the meeting access codes for dialing in by telephone to attend the WebEx broadcast of each meeting didn't work. Again. In between the two meetings, Mr. Morwitz emailed me and apologized, stating the meeting access code listed was incorrect and his error. They were both incorrect codes, perhaps from a different earlier meeting. This is not the first time this has happened where the Health Commission Secretary either listed the wrong meeting access code on the meeting agenda, or there were technical difficulties preventing remote public attendance and an opportunity to provide remote public testimony. The errors with incorrect access code numbers being listed must stop permanently. Mr. Morwitz or his stand-in replacement are paid far too much at $190,343 and $149,000, respectively, in total pay annually to be making these kinds of errors listing the meeting access codes. Period. Full stop. Morwitz has been doing remote public meetings for 5 years, when COVID ushered in remote meetings in March 2020. He's had plenty of experience about this over the past 5 years, so these errors are now inexcusable and shouldn't be happening. So I had to turn to the SOTF and file this complaint, hoping you will find a violation that might finally put an end to these errors. I would also just note, as I did in my rebuttal letter on September 22nd, that Victor Whitehouse Lim's assertion the SOTF should dismiss my complaint, quote, because the mistakes were due to human error, end quote, is ridiculous. That's patently absurd on the face of it. All SOTF complaints essentially involve human errors because the SOTF's jurisdiction does not involve mechanical errors or any other type of non-human errors. Lim was engaging in gaslighting at best. Please don't dismiss my complaint as Mr. Lim lamely requested. Instead, please find a sunshine violation on this case.
finally, I would just like to add on that I hope the complaint committee will forward a strong recommendation to the bulk Sunshine Task Force to just place this on the consent calendar to find a violation, if you could. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, when the timer is ready, we can now hear from the respondent side.
You can begin at your discretion, Mr. Lim.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Victor Lim here, Assistant Director of Public Affairs with SFDPH and also Custodian of Records.
Can you pause for a second? We're having a little bit of audio problem. We're not hearing you too clearly. Can you
This better?
can you repeat that?
Is this better?
Can you stay talk a little bit longer?
Okay. Is this better, Victor? I'm turning off my video.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Young. Victor Lim here, Assistant Director of Public Affairs with SFDPH and also the Custodian of Records. First of all, we want to issue an apology again to Mr. Minette Shaw for any trouble that he went through for both meetings on September the 8th and subsequently for the following meeting that he was unable to join successfully on September the 15th of this however, we are respectfully asking at this meeting, and I did not mean to have it dismissed prematurely. It's just the way we respond, that the task force should consider dismissing this complaint. We do not deny that there was error made on the September 8th meeting, and Mr. Morowitz did respond and acknowledge that there was an error. We do apologize that this was a clerical error, and he is very sorry about this, and we tried to take proactive measure to ensure that this didn't happen again. He was not there for the subsequent meeting because he had to be away due to some family emergencies, and so we had other staff of the Health Commission to run the meeting, Mr. Maxwell Guerra and others. Unfortunately, Mr. Minette Shaw did express the difficulty in logging into the meeting. However, we did have Mr. Guerra make sure that the correct information was posted, and he did indicate that during the meeting. I do understand that Mr. Minette Shaw still had some difficulty in trying to log in, and again, we apologize for that, and for any of that, we do take this seriously to make sure that moving forward we try to avoid this. And the reason why we're asked to have it respectfully dismissed was it wasn't like that we were intentionally trying to prevent someone from attending the meeting remotely. Again, this was an error. We acknowledged it the first time. The second time, the error, we tried to amend it. Unfortunately, it appeared again, and the clerk, the acting clerk at the time, did take proactive measures to try to amend the issue. Therefore, we just respectively ask that you consider the circumstances of that was unfortunate, and the rest I submit because we've already submitted in writing in our rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we may have questions for the parties. Miss Member Sugarman, any questions you have at the moment?
I guess only one for the respondent. It says I understand kind of the position of your position and of the petitioner's position. He made it clear, however, that he wants to see this case pushed to the full task force for findings of violation, which to me says that he's not convinced that this error that happened twice is effectively resolved. So I guess that's my question to you is, it seems as though you acknowledge there has been an error, and what your contention is that it was simply a mistake and that it won't happen again?
Yes, sir. So the issue was that Mr. Minette Shaw, Mr. Morowitz did acknowledge for the first time it was his mistake on his side. He does apologize with the incorrect information, and then we because he could not physically be there for the second time, it was assigned to another staffer. We made note of the concern and the issue to try to avoid this from happening, knowing that there was login issues. And for whatever reason, Mr. Minette Shaw still had challenges. We acknowledged that during the meeting, and we tried to mitigate it again. We, again, really do not hope that this happens, and our staff and support staff do take this very seriously to avoid such an error from happening again. Thank you.
I just have one follow-up question. Thank you for your response. He also mentioned in his testimony about phone access versus WebEx. Is this something that you believe you have proper access to do via phone for your meetings?
The challenge was the access for Mr. Minette Shaw through the phone.
Okay.
So yeah, and so for whatever reason, I think the WebEx challenge that he was having, WebEx also creates a telephone dial-in number.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the link that we're talking about. And we understand that he requires the access on the phone line so he can patch it, or I guess place his phone over the laptop, so then the speaking software can iterate his speech on his behalf, the script that he has.
May I make a comment, please?
Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sherman. I'll be really quick. This is not an issue about me trying to patch into WebEx. Every time I do, I get that interference that creates so much noise, I have to disconnect from a WebEx connection on my computer. I never use WebEx. I only try to use dial-in through the phone. Mr. Lim had said in his response to you that they had taken corrective measures to make sure this would never happen again. But I want to remind you, it's not just these two dates that I've given you. This has happened multiple times where Mr. Morowitz has made errors in publishing the agendas with the incorrect meeting code listed on the agendas. And I had never filed sunshine complaints. I graciously tried to work with Mr. Morowitz and forgive him for his human errors, because after all, I'm human and I make errors myself. We're all human, but this has got to stop. This has gone on for 2 or 3 years, and I have not kept a logbook of each date that has happened, but it's many more times than just twice. It has got to stop.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Those are my questions.
Okay. This is Chair Schmidt, and I have 1 or 2 questions probably for the different the parties, for each party. A question to the respondent. Did you say something to the effect that this is something. Okay, first there are incorrect, allegedly incorrect agenda notices. That would be, if that's true, that's a human error. Would you agree with that?
That's a question to me. This is Victor.
Yeah, to you, Mr. Lim.
Oh, the issue was that the agenda had indicated incorrect telephone dial-in information
Okay.
for September 8th meeting.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate. We're not challenging that error. We do own up to it. And we did make note that was an error.
Okay.
And that has happened 5 or 6 or 8 times, not just once.
Thank you, Mr. Manette Shaw. After that error was brought to your attention, and this is still to the respondent, and Mr. Morowitz said that, yeah, Mr. Morowitz made an error. What has been done to try to make sure that that type of error does not happen in the future?
The subsequent meeting for the 15th, they had assigned to other staff at the time because Mr. Morowitz could not attend. And I believe instructions were to be given that the corrected logging information should have been posted online and on the PDF agenda. We did also ask staff to remotely log in, and on the meeting for the 15th, 2 of our separate staffers were able to log in. However, I do acknowledge and understand that Mr. Manette Shaw experienced, for any reason, maybe software, whatever, not on his side, maybe on the platform, that he was unable to initially log in, and staff had to again look into the issue and somehow correct the information. I wasn't there. I spoke with the staff that handled it. But since then, Mr. Morowitz is back in office already.
Okay, but it's still basically the responsibility at this time is Mr. Morowitz's to make sure that the agendas have the correct contact number for the hearing, correct?
Yes, that's correct, because
Okay.
Mr. Morowitz is the secretary. Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
Question to Mr. I'm going to ask a question of Mr. Manette Shaw. Let's start with the first error, and I know that you are saying it wasn't the first error. I get it, but the first error that we're talking about here, and Mr. Morowitz has admitted responsibility, admitted that it wasn't done correctly. Do you have any ideas, suggestions about what they could do better?
I do. Let me just say, Chair Schmidt, I maintain my own personal website about Laguna Honda issues and other good government issues. My .lhhdownsides.com website, where I put up all sorts of commentary about City Hall. And when I am prepping those files in Dreamweaver as my HTML editor, I have a little a little list I maintain in Microsoft Excel that I always pull up and print. Did you check the hyperlinks to make sure they're all working? Did you insert all of the pictures you intended to insert? Did you use the right font for every main heading and subheading so that there are consistencies between the layout? Have you spell checked the document? In other words, I have a to-do list that I routinely use, and I wish Mr. Morwitz would use the same kind of a checklist. It's something that secretaries in my job classification code, when I worked for the city, is a 1446 Secretary Roman numeral 2. I always had checklists to prompt me into remembering what I needed to do with complex tasks. Morwitz should do the same thing. Chair Schmidt. And I noticed Mr. Lim did not answer the direct question of what steps have they done proactively to make sure it doesn't happen again. And I don't want to be the dead horse, but, and again, I haven't tracked exactly how many times this has happened over the last 5 years, but it's not an isolated occurrence. And so all I'm asking is for you to find that there was, in fact, a violation of the ordinance that did, in fact, happen. Everybody's apologized. I'll get off everybody's back. I just want a violation found so that maybe that will register with Mr. Morwitz. He has to develop a checklist and stop making these errors.
Thank you. Okay, I think I have no more questions. So at this time, questions the question session is ended, and so the members will deliberate on how to handle this case. Member Sugarman, do you have any initial thoughts, or do you have a motion, anything?
I believe that that the department has been open in its error, and that that the petitioner is looking for something simple that I think that we can grant him, frankly. Like, for me, I think that it's an easy, or not easy, but I look toward violation towards 67.5 and 67.7, which have to do with the agenda requirements of regular meetings. I don't know, I mean, if you want to like review it, but for me, it's more just, it has to do with 67.7 has to do with what's posted in the agenda and making it readily accessible for people in plain English. I do believe that, at least from what I've heard, that the department erred and does not want to. And so the only outstanding question that I would have as a recommendation is whether you want, the SOTF to follow up with them, or if you, or given the fact that this seems to have been turned around in a faster timeline, that we could just find the violation, and then if Mr. Monetshaw continues to have issues, he can file another complaint as well. So those are my thoughts.
Okay. I think I'm with you on 67.7. I'm not sure about a violation of 67.5.
Okay.
It's I just don't know if I see it. 5. I don't know if they violated 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so I I may suggest we specifically, either in a recommendation or a consent calendar, because I think we do have to find a violation. I'm not saying that they're not taking responsibility for it, but I think we do have to find a violation here. And so maybe either recommendation or consent calendar 67.7 violation.
I think a consent for 67.7 is fine.
Okay. I move that we find, or we don't find, we place this matter on the consent calendar at the next task force meeting, and recommend finding of a violation of Administrative Code 67.7. Anything further? No? Okay, that's the
And
motion.
I second.
In regards to 16.7, do you want to provide a reason for the full task force to review?
For incorrectly stating access information
Yes. Okay.
for the petitioner to dial in properly.
Yes, just to restate the motion moved by Chair Schmidt, seconded by Member Sugarman, and I did make some suggestions to find that the SOTF has jurisdiction and to refer the matter to the SOTF consent agenda with the recommendation to find that Department of Public Health violated Administrative Code Section 610.7 by failing to provide accurate telephone login information for the remote meeting access on the agenda.
Yes, that's it.
Yes, on that motion, if there's anybody who would like to make public comment, you can press *3 to raise your hand if you're on the telephone, or otherwise use the application to raise your hand.
Clerk Young, this is Mr. Lim, Victor Lim. Can I just make one final comment?
Yes, make it
Oh.
quick though. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I just want to acknowledge to thank Mr. Minette Shaw's final suggestions he gave to you, Mr. Chair. And I also want to just compliment as a former DEM staffer, and when Mr. Minette Shaw preceded my time, he did do a very meticulous and outstanding job clerking the Disaster Council, and I do learn from his work and all that. So thank you, Mr. Minette Shaw, for his advice. We will bring this back to our staff for further improvements. Thank you.
Great.
I
Thank you.
would like to thank Mr. Lim for his collegial acknowledgement of my work at DEM, and I want to thank Chair
Schmidt.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble talking. Chair Schmidt and Member Sugarman, you gave me everything I wanted, and I really hope I don't have to bother Mr. Morwitz or the task force any further on this issue. And that simple checklist can help Mr. Morwitz in more than one way, because he makes more and different kinds of errors. A checklist would assist him greatly. He might not know that because he's a trained social worker, but take the advice of a professional secretary and listen to Patrick.
Thank you. Okay. I think, did we already clear public comment on this?
There is no public comment.
Okay.
And I just like to state, pending approval of Chair Yankee, this matter will go on the consent agenda for the November 5th meeting of the Full Sunshine Ordinance Task Force.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we need a vote, right?
Yes, on that motion. Chair Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Stein, absent. That motion passes without objection.
Okay, let's go back to Rosa L.
Yes, item number 6, file number 25070, complaint filed by Rosa L. against the San Francisco Police Department. Previously called. Is the representative for Rosa L. present at this time? You can press *3 to raise your hand, or otherwise raise your hand. I don't see any hands raised at this time. I was just gonna unmute the one unlisted number we have just in case. Hi, caller. I've just unmuted your line. I'm just wondering which item you're here for. Caller, I've just unmuted your line. If you can let me know what item you're here for, it would be appreciated.
Hello,
Yes, I was just wondering what item
you hear
you're
me?
here for.
Chima.
Could you repeat that?
Chima and the Human Services Agency.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to be sure you weren't someone we were looking for previous item. Thank you.
Okay, Rosa L. Not being here to attend the hearing, I am going to move that we, by our rules, basically table the matter, dismiss the matter, whatever the language is. And she would need to take action to reopen the case.
Yes, I believe the motion is to table/close the matter due to non-appearance. The complainant does have a chance to reopen it. If they do contact us, we will inform them via email regarding the matter. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Member Sugarman. Are there any members of the public who would like to provide public comment on the motion to table this matter? If you're on the phone, you can press *3 or otherwise raise your hand. I have no public comment on that motion. Chair Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Member Stein, absent. That motion passes without objection. Moving on to item 7, complaint file number 25072, complaint filed by Annie Gilbertson against the San Francisco Police Department for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 67.24D by failing to allow access to law enforcement information. If the complainant for this matter could raise their hand, it would be appreciated. If the representative for Annie Gilbertson could raise their hand so I can identify you. Last call for Annie Gilbertson. You can press *3 if you're on the phone, or otherwise use the application to raise your hand. I'm not seeing any hands raised, and there's nobody in the room at this time.
Okay, I'll move to close the matter as we did the last case.
Yes, on the motion to table the matter due to non-appearance. On that motion, if there's anybody in the public who'd like to comment on the motion to table, you can raise your hand at this time by pressing *3 or otherwise using the application to raise your hand. I have no public comment on that motion. I assume that Member Sugarman seconded.
Oh, second. Yes.
My apologies. I should do that beforehand. On that motion, moved by Chair Schmidt, seconded by Member Sugarman. Chair Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Member Stein is absent. That motion passes without objection.
Okay, before we continue, can I just ask, just as a course of business, what was the interaction with these parties that we've now tabled before the meeting?
I am not able to answer those questions. This is the first I've seen of them myself.
Okay. Okay, moving on.
Moving on, item number 9, complaint filed by Jared Stratton against the San Francisco Police Department for allegedly violating Administrative Code, Section 67.21 by failing to respond to a public works request in a timely and/or complete manner. Is the petitioner available for this matter? You can raise your hand at this time. It would be appreciated. I'm not getting any results. Just as a precaution, I am going to unmute the people we have online just to see which one they're here for, just to be sure we're not missing anybody. Mr. Pang, I was just wondering which item you're here for?
I'm here for number 10, representing the Human Services Agency.
No problem. Thank you very much. Ms. Barry, I was wondering which item you're here for?
I am representing the Human Services
Sorry,
Agency number.
I'm not hearing you. I hear a whisper. Oh, she muted herself. Robert, I was wondering which item you're here for?
Yes, I was here for item number 5, the one where Rosa L. was not present.
Okay, thank you very much. You can welcome to hang out and listen to the rest of the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Ted, I was wondering which item you're here for. Ted, can you hear me? I've unmuted your mic. We're just wondering which item. Ted has muted himself. So it appears we don't have a last call for the petitioner, Jared Stratton, for item number 9 for the police department against the police department. If you're here, please raise your hand at this time by pressing *3 or using the application to raise your hands. There are no hands raised, and we've gone through all the speakers to check on what they're here for. So,
sounds like we've covered it. Let's I'm going to move to close that. I'm a little bit wary about the notice. If we got 3 consecutive cases where we have non-appearance, and so there may be some later look back at the notice, et cetera, and those cases might reappear. And I think if they reappeared, we should make sure that they come before us, since we've already done the prep on those cases.
Would you like to hear from the respondent at all regarding these cases? They're all against the police department.
I think we have to close them, and if we somehow were to reopen them later, the PD would certainly have an opportunity. But I don't know if there's anything we would really need to cover with them.
Okay.
So move to close.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the motion to table the matter, are there any members of the public who would like to provide public comment on this matter? You can press *3 to raise your hand, or otherwise use the application to raise your hand. There are no hands raised. I believe we can close public comment.
Okay.
On that motion, Member Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Stein, absent. That motion passes without objection. Next on the agenda is item number 10, file number 25077, complaint filed by Chidoki Chima against the Human Services Agency for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 67.21 by failing to respond to a public works request in a timely and or complete manner. Can the parties in this matter raise your hand so I can unmute you? I have moved the raised hands to panelists, so you have control over your own microphone at this time.
Okay, so we will hear first from Chikoti Chima, the petitioner, when the timer's ready.
I'm not sure which one is the petitioner at this time. Is the petitioner here?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Hi. Good evening. My name is Chikati Chima. Chair Schmidt and members of the committee, thank you very much for the time. This complaint falls squarely within the task force's jurisdiction because it concerns the Human Services Agency's failure to respond in a timely and complete manner to a public records request in violation of Administrative Code 67.21. The request was properly submitted through email. The agency acknowledged it and then issued a categorical denial invoking Welfare and Institutions Code Section 10850, refusing to even confirm whether responsive records exist. That's a determination under the Sunshine Ordinance, and it's precisely what this body reviews. I'm not asking the committee to reach on the merits today, only to confirm the task force has authority to hear this matter because it involves the agency's handling of records requests under local transparency law. Thank you for considering jurisdiction and for upholding San Francisco's open government standards.
Thank you. Okay, now we can hear from the respondent. Up to 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Michelle Berry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I am an assistant custodian of records for the San Francisco Human Services Agency. And I am contesting Mr. Chima's allegation that we failed to respond to public records. His public records request for in-home supportive services, also known as IHSS provider records. The requester's initial request included a record request where information that was sought is protected under the confidentiality statute of the California Welfare Institutions Code 10850. This confidentiality statute addresses public social services, which includes in-home supportive services, and it states that all applications and records concerning any individual made or kept by a public officer relating to any form of public social services shall be confidential and not open to examination for any purpose not directly connect with the administration of that program. IHSS recipients receive assistance services to live safely in the community, and their providers or caretakers work for them as employees. Individual provider information is considered part of the IHSS recipient's case record. And under this confidentiality statute of 10850, we are unable to confirm or deny the existence of records pertaining to a specific provider without proper authorization or a court order. The requester initially requested employment records for an individual that he identified as a provider. And our response cited the confidentiality statute of 10850. The requester then narrowed his request for provider payroll and wage records, as he stated that the public employee wage information is disclosable. On the 10th day of the standard request, we clarified that payroll and wage records for IHSS providers are paid through the California Department of Social Services and not the county. We provided referrals in accordance with the Welfare Institutions Code, or WIC 10850 confidentiality rules. And we provided the CDSS public records request website, We provided information on how an IHSS provider can access their own payroll and W-2 information. And lastly, we provided information with a link to a website listing the IHSS provider hourly wage of San Francisco providers. Now, Mr. Chima contested this, and we responded and recited again the WIC 10850 citation, as this confidentiality statute codifies that we are unable to confirm or deny the existence of records pertaining to a specific provider without proper authorization or a court order. San Francisco Human Services has no responsive records for the payroll and wage records that he is requesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask one question before we proceed? Could you restate the section and what code, the name of the code?
Absolutely. The code is the California Welfare Institutions Code, and the citation is 10850.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we may have questions. Member Sugarman, anything at this time?
I might, but I want you to start.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, a question to the respondent. The payment information, it seems to me that there may be two reasons why your office would, even if there is payment information out there somewhere, your office would not be able to provide it to this petitioner. One reason being that the state is actually the one who does that. So if there were records of the payment, those would be held by a state agency. That seems to be one reason. The other reason is that if that information were in your agency's possession, it still would not be producible under 10850. I'm just wondering, do you does your agency have any such information? And you're saying the WI code section is an applicable exemption, or are you saying we wouldn't have that information because it's all done by the state? Does that, I know that was a lengthy question. Do you have any, can you tell me, is there information in your possession that we're talking about here, or is it all held by the state?
Sure. The employment information that is disclosable is held by the California Department of Social Services, and they maintain the records, and they have a certain standard as to confidentiality in terms of releasing the records. We do not own the records, the employment records for, as I would say, for an in-home supportive services provider.
Okay. And you were saying that if, and you're not saying that there is information in your possession, but if you had anything at your agency, it would still be exempt under the Welfare Institutions Code. Is that an accurate characterization of what you're saying?
Yes, that is accurate.
Okay. And you couldn't really even tell the petitioner or us whether you had information that was requested because the exemption would not allow you to state that to us. Is that also what you're saying?
That is correct. That is what I am saying. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Member Sugarman, any questions?
No, actually, that clarified what I was thinking about.
Okay. So we're done with the questions. Now we will deliberate on whether and how to send this to the full task force, because we cannot make any actual decisions. We can look at certain questions. We can look specifically here at questions of jurisdiction and publicness, whether these are records that are public records. And we may make recommendations, or we may decide to put this on a consent calendar. I think my impression here, just real quickly, is this is a pretty strong exemption, and it may be that there's not much question that all these kind of records are either under the exemption, or they're actually not even city and county records. They're state records. That's what it looks like to me.
So for me, if I'm a little like looking at the case file itself, where the respondent said that employee wages would be part of a client's case file. That the confidentiality, I'm reading this now, it's on page 5 of the packet. It says this confidentiality extends to the provider payroll and wage records, which are considered part of the client's case file and are protected from disclosure unless the request is made by the client themselves, etc. I'm not the expert on this issue, but that doesn't sound like it holds up to me. Like, why would an employee wage be part of a client? I mean, it could be included in the client case file for some reason, but why would it be part of, like, a protectable part of a client case file? So that's one question that I have. I also think that there's certainly, it's not understanding the code myself. I can defer to you and say there's certainly a strong likelihood that it is protected information and that it should go to it could be part of a state agency instead. But then that begs the question, although I don't remember which part of Sunshine it comes under, how much assistance this agency gave to the petitioning party. That's something that's come up with us before. And even though, and I discussed this with you briefly at the beginning of this meeting, that I fall on a different page of custodianship, that this issue just came up at our last special meeting for the Sunshine Task Force about who is in possession of a document and what is their responsibility to release it. What constitutes them as custodianship? I know how I feel about that. In the context of what you're saying, maybe the custodian is the state and it doesn't have to do with us. I could be inclined to agree with that with enough information in front of me. However, I know that the Sunshine Force as a full body is conflicted about that and might want to see this case before it is like just summarily like put onto the consent calendar. As my personal take on it.
Okay. With that in mind, I think that what we may want to do here is to make the findings that we're required to make, and then let the task force look at this. I do think that some of my questions were answered by the respondent, but I also see your point about payment information with regards to the worker. That doesn't seem like it would necessarily fall within the kind of protection that the statute says.
It's not under a client case. That's the part that I was like, that I looked at and I was like, why is this the response?
Yeah.
But that doesn't preclude it from being protected for other reasons.
Yeah.
I don't know what other reasons, but it doesn't, like I'm saying, I don't know what they could be, but the way that was worded, I was like, I don't think that would be the reason it's protected.
Yeah. Yeah. And my thought, I'm going to be thinking that you're right, that different task force members may have different ideas about this. I think it's either probably under the code section or it's actually a state matter. That's kind of my sense. But the one opening here might be getting access to, basically what does this person get paid and how many hours do they put in for a specific,
Right.
Well, if it's the client themselves, they can make the request. I'm not sure if someone other than the client would have any entitlement to that information, but I don't know if go ahead. I don't know if we need to really get to answers on that today.
Okay, yeah, let's leave it there then.
Okay. You can make the motion if you want, or I could make the motion.
Please make the motion.
Okay. I'm going to move that we forward this case to the Sunshine Task Force in full, and we do not make a recommendation. We do state that this case, we do have jurisdiction and it does involve public records. The question before the task force will be, was there a violation of 67.21?
Yes, on the motion moved by Chair Schmidt, seconded by Member Sugarman, to find that the SOTF has jurisdiction and refer the matter to the SOTF for hearing without recommendation.
Sounds good. Go ahead.
I'd like to amend that to say that we do have jurisdiction, forwarding it to the full task force for possible violations of the Sunshine Ordinance, and to evaluate which agency is the custodian of the documents in question. That's what I would like.
Sounds fun.
Just a possible restatement. Find jurisdiction and refer the matter to the SOTF for hearing without recommendation to review the possible violation / evaluate. I will rewrite this to be a little bit clearer. Possible violation and evaluate which agency is the custodian of records. Are there any objections?
That's correct.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public who would like to provide, before I do that, I'd like to make sure the mover is okay with it.
Yes.
Yes, are there any members of the public who would like to make any comments on this matter or public comments? You can raise your hand at this time. I do not see any public commenters. We do have the petitioner who has their hand raised. I'm not sure if they wanted to say anything before we act.
I don't know if we
No
need to
further
hear
comment.
from them. We will, you will get to speak before the full task force. There's not much more we can do here. So let's just say we'll see you there.
Okay, public comment is closed. And just for everyone's information, upon Chair Yankee's approval, this matter will most likely appear on the November 5th full task force agenda. I'm just double checking the date. Yes, November 5th. Notice will be provided shortly if we do put it on that agenda. Thank you. On that motion, there's no members of the public for public comment. On the motion, Chair Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Stein, absent. That motion passes without objection. Next on the agenda is item number 11, hearing Advancing Sunshine Ordinance Task Force, Section 67.3 rules.
Okay, we don't have Member Stein here, and this is an ongoing discussion that the three of us have been having. I believe that we should just say that we're not going to do anything on it tonight, and we'll keep it on the agenda. I know there were a couple questions that we're looking at, and I think we should wait until we have all members before we discuss again. So nothing else.
Yes, I believe there will be a motion to continue this matter to the call of the chair.
Yeah, motion. Yeah, that's fine. Motion to continue.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is seconded. Are there any members of the public who would like to provide public comment on this matter? You can raise your hand at this time. I do not see any hands raised. We can close public comment. On that motion, Chair Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Member Stein. Stein, absent. That motion is adopted without objection. Item number 12, announcements, comments, questions, and future agenda items by members of the Complaint Committee.
Nothing for me.
Me neither.
There being no action, no public comment is needed on this matter. Item 13, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
On the motion to adjourn, Chair Schmidt.
Aye.
Schmidt, aye. Member Sugarman.
Aye.
Sugarman, aye. Stein, absent. That motion passes without objection. I am stopping the recording at this time.
All right. Thank you. Well, we didn't go to 9:30 tonight, did we? Well.